The man I thought was my best friend was the one who destroyed me, but what I did next? That's the part they'll never forget. Hey, I'm Jason Carter, 32, and I work as a mechanic in Detroit. My life's pretty routine: early mornings, grease under my nails, the scent of gasoline lingering as I clock in. It's simple, or at least, it used to be. Most days, I don't mind the grind. You get used to it. You find peace in the familiar sounds, the hum of the engine, the clink of tools. But there's something I never saw coming, something that changed everything. I'd been working at the same shop for years, putting in overtime, fixing cars for people who'd barely notice what I did, all for a future that, well, seemed to slip through my fingers every time I thought I was getting ahead. The real kicker? I thought I had a brother in arms, someone I trusted, Victor Hale. He was more than a coworker. He was family. That's what I believed until the day I found out everything he'd done, and that's when my whole world shattered. Victor wasn't just a colleague. We served together in Iraq. He was my buddy in the trenches. There's no bond stronger than that. When we got back, we both needed something to cling to, so we started a business, fixing cars, getting our hands dirty, making money together. I gave everything to make it work. I sacrificed time with my family, put my soul into that shop, always believing that we were building something that mattered. But then, Victor changed. It started small, skipping work here and there, taking long lunches. Then, one day, I found out that while I'd been working myself to the bone, he'd been setting up behind my back, cutting deals with other shops, lying about expenses, taking money from the business without telling me. He was playing me for a fool. He'd taken everything we built together and was selling it off piece by piece. He was the kind of guy who would throw anyone under the bus just to stay on top. I was too trusting, too naive to see it, and when I confronted him, his words hit me like a slap in the face. This was always about survival. Jason, you're too soft for this business. I'm doing what I had to do. It was a punch to the gut, but I didn't have time to react. Not yet. I knew I had to plan. He'd taken everything, but I wasn't going to let him take my dignity, not without a fight. The day it happened, it felt like the ground shifted beneath me. I remember walking into the shop, expecting it to be like any other day, but when I opened the door, everything was gone. The cars, the tools. Victor's smug face was the only thing left standing. He stood behind the counter, wearing a shirt I'd bought him for his birthday, like it was just another Tuesday. "You're late," he said with a smirk, like we were still friends. My heart dropped. What the hell is this? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. I made a deal, Jason. The business is mine now. He didn't even flinch. His betrayal cut deeper than any war wound I'd ever suffered. My hands trembled, but I stayed silent, too stunned to speak. I was drowning in disbelief, the cold air of the shop pressing against me like an iron vice. That was the moment I knew I'd lost everything, and it wasn't just the shop, it was the life we'd promised ourselves. It was all gone, and there was no going back. I didn't respond immediately. The anger burned, but I kept it contained. This wasn't about screaming or fighting, it was about making him regret underestimating me. I walked out of that shop, but I didn't walk away. I went to work, gathering everything I could, every detail, every piece of evidence that would prove Victor's deceit. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't scream or threaten. I just got to work, quietly, methodically, like a man preparing for war. The more I dug, the more I uncovered. Victor had forged documents, siphoned funds, and even used my name to secure loans. All of it was illegal. I wasn't going to let him get away with this. I wasn't going to let him ruin me. When I finally walked back into that courtroom, it wasn't with rage, it was with purpose. I could see Victor's face twist in panic as the trial unfolded. His phone buzzed constantly, his texts to his lawyer speeding across the screen. "Get me out of this. I'll pay whatever it takes. Don't let him win." But I didn't respond. I didn't even acknowledge him. I was above this petty scramble for control. He tried to call me out in front of the judge, but I stayed silent. Keeping my cool, I let the evidence speak for itself. Each time he tried to talk his way out of it, the courtroom fell silent. I could feel the tension crackling in the air. There was no escaping it. His web of lies was collapsing, and he knew it. I didn't say a word when the final verdict came down. The room was still. He was guilty on all charges, his face drained of color, and I could feel the world shift around us. The twist? Victor's downfall wasn't just about money, it was about the people he'd betrayed along the way, the ones who had trusted him. The court wasn't just a place for legal justice, It was the stage for his public humiliation. As the verdict was read aloud, his reputation crumbled in front of everyone. The crowd's whispers echoed through the courthouse. Victor tried to hold on to his arrogance, but it slipped away as the weight of the truth pressed down on him. His empire of lies came crashing down, and the world finally saw him for what he was: a fraud, a thief, a man who would sacrifice anyone for his own gain. Victor's business was seized, his assets frozen, the people he'd wronged moved on, rebuilding their lives. And as for me, I learned something I'll never forget. It wasn't about revenge, it was about reclaiming what was mine. I never needed to prove I was stronger than him, I just needed to show that no matter how deep the betrayal, I could stand up and rise. The shop. It didn't matter anymore. The real treasure was the peace I felt walking out of that courtroom, knowing I had fought for what was right. Now, every morning, the smell of oil and metal doesn't remind me of the past. It reminds me that I'm free, free from the lies, free from the pain. You ever had someone you trusted break you? Betray you in a way that left you questioning everything you knew? How did you handle it? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your stories. If you want more stories about justice, betrayal, and redemption, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. There's always more to uncover. And remember, no matter what happens, you've got the power to rise above it.